Welcome back to Zyre Yoga. I'm Kayla. So today we're just going to be going through a really short practice for glute activation and just stretching out the hips. So I have a lot of issues with probably glute amnesia where they are really strong, they just don't always work when they're supposed to. So I have a lot of, I talked about this in a previous video, a lot of imbalances, and I've been struggling with my left side this week. So we're just going to do something quick that's going to basically be able to get me through my day. So if you have a strap, like a yoga strap, you can use it. I just use a necktie usually because all my straps are with all of my teaching gear in my car. But so I just use a necktie at home. I have a block. If you don't have a block, go ahead and grab a book. Maybe a couple of books to stack or a couple of pillows will feel really nice too. We're just going to start seated. So once you've got that stuff, just set it aside. Take a moment, relax your shoulders, maybe take your palms to face up. If sitting cross-legged is uncomfortable, you can sit on your book so your hips are a little bit higher, or you can just take your legs straight out in front of you if you prefer. Okay? So just starting out wherever you like, take a long deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. One more like that. And then we'll start to move through that yogic breath. So sending long, deep inhales down to the belly. Try to fill all the way up into your collarbones, into your back. As you exhale, pull your belly in. And use the muscles to press the lungs to let all of that air release. And just noticing as you're breathing where you might be holding tension in your body. A lot of times the tension, if we have it in our hips, we'll keep it in our jaw as well. So just try to let your jaw relax. Try to allow your shoulders to relax, the middle of your forehead. Lengthening your spine a little bit more each time you inhale. And just releasing every time you exhale. When you're ready on your next inhale, just begin to lift your arms above your head. Lengthen up as long and tall as you can. And when you're ready to exhale, just fold forward, hands onto the ground. Let your chin drop down. So if your legs are straight out in front of you, maybe you're not leaning very far, but if you have your legs crossed, just come as far as feels good. Just noticing any sensation in your hips, your low back, through your glutes. Maybe in your upper back if you let your chin drop down. When you're ready for it, just coming part way up, we're going to take our hands over to the left. See if you can bring your chest so that it's pointing towards your left knee, and then just walk your arms out as far as it feels good, but don't let your right hip come up. Try to press it back, stretching down that side, stretching through the QL, through the glutes. If it feels good, maybe turn your head side to side. And then when you're ready, you're going to take your left hand, bring it back a little bit further. Our right arm, we're just going to reach all the way up. Start to open your chest towards the ceiling. Keep pressing into that left hand. Maybe bring your right hand back further so you're getting a little stretch through the arms and the chest while still getting that side bend. Try to let your right knee relax. And then when you're ready, exhaling, we're going to come all the way back over. See if you can come a little further, finding your way into a twist. Pull your belly in. Try to shine that chest forward. When you're ready for it, start to walk your hands back. Coming back through center, and just change the cross in your legs. And then we're gonna do it all again, but leaning over to the other side. So inhaling the arms up over the head, lengthen as long and tall as you can. As you exhale, start to hinge forward, find your way into that fold. Noticing if you can feel any changes in your body since you've changed the cross in your legs. Just like on the other side, coming part way up, we're gonna walk the hands over to the right, line your chest up with your right knee, and then walk the hands out, sinking into that fold. Try to press your left hip down. Notice if this side feels different. So for me, because my left side's really been bothering me, it feels very tight up through this QL. Just trying to lengthen. And then when you're ready for it, bringing your right hand over a little bit more, we'll sweep the left arm up, press into the right hand, start to lean over into that side bend, but open that arm up so that you're getting a stretch through both arms. Try to pull your belly in so you're not swaying in the back. And then we'll just press back up. Turn your chest all the way over. Find the twist as far as you can. Lengthening that chest forward. Still pressing through the left hip, keeping the glutes on the ground. And then coming back through center. Hands onto the knees, start to just sort of take like a seated cat-cow movement. So we're gonna move the chest forward, looking up. As you exhale, hold on to the legs. Send your back towards the wall behind you. Inhale to reach up. And exhale back. So if you're sitting with the legs out in front of you, you can still do this movement. You'll just do it like this. One more time, leaning back. And then coming back up through center, hands down onto the floor. We're gonna lean back, put the feet flat down on the ground, and you're just gonna windshield wiper the knees side to side. Getting an idea of how they're feeling, not the knees, but the hips. Seeing how it feels to bring that knee down in center. We don't do a ton of internal rotation just in our daily lives, so you might find some tightness. And then when you're ready for it, I'm going to turn to face the right side of my mat and find my way down onto my back. So just taking a moment here, get nice and comfortable. Try to lengthen your upper body away from your lower body. Maybe take your hands right onto your thighs and press them away, feeling some traction. And then releasing, we're going to take both knees into the chest to start, hands on top, just make some big circles. So sometimes I can keep my hands on the tops of my knees, sometimes I need to bring them out towards my thighs. Try to pull your belly in so you're at least getting a little core work, keeping your back on the ground. And then we'll go the other way, so just taking those circles in the opposite direction. And then finding your way back to center. We're going to keep the left leg in, right knee is going to come into the chest. You can lengthen it long if it feels good. Pull the toes back. See if you can just pull that left knee up towards your chest a little further. Reach the right leg away. Active through the right leg. Take the hands on the back of the thigh. We're just going to start to lengthen the leg up and bend it back down. So do this a couple of times and really press your heel up, seeing if you can get some stretch into your calf, not taking the focus solely into that hamstring. And then we're going to go ahead and bring that left foot down. Right ankle is going to go across the left thigh. See if you can let the knee drop open. Maybe rotate through the right ankle a couple of times. And then I want you just to take a second, make sure that your hips are even with your shoulders. So you're in a nice long line, you're not swaying the hips over to one side. Hands are going to come by your sides. We're going to take some rolling bridges just with the one leg. So we're going to start to activate those glutes. Hands down on the ground, make sure you have space between the back of your neck and the floor so your chin's slightly lifted. Press into your heel of your left foot. We're going to start just by tucking the tailbone up towards the ceiling, pulling the belly in. And then when you're ready, start to lift that leg up. Try to keep the hips even with your shoulders, slowly come back down. Same thing again, so tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling first and then lift. And slowly lower back down. Keep pressing into your heels. You should be able to lift your toes off the ground and wiggle them. Up and down a couple more times on this side. Noticing what's happening in that right hip. If your knee's kind of pointing towards the ceiling because your hip's not very open right now, that's okay. And then we're going to do one more here, and we're going to hold it. So try to tuck that tailbone up towards the ceiling, pull your belly in. If it feels comfortable, just extend your right leg long and try to lift that right hip so both are even towards the ceiling. When it feels good, slowly bring it back down. Windshield wiper the knees side to side. We're staying on the left side, but go ahead and grab your strap or whatever you're using. And we're going to take that left foot, looping the ball of the foot with the strap. Try not to put it into your arch. Use that strap so that your shoulders can be relaxed. Pull your toes back towards you. Your right leg can stay bent or even lengthen it. And we're just going to take this slightly across that center part of your body. So you're not coming into a twist. Your left hip's not coming off the ground. It's going to stay right here. And you're just going to come over a little bit. Keep pressing that heel. Maybe bringing the foot towards the shoulder on the opposite side of your body. And just seeing where you feel that. Slight bend in your knee, don't lock it out, but I'm feeling this actually everywhere. My low back, outside of my hip, up into my calf. When you're ready for it, we're going to take the strap into the left hand, take your right hand onto your right hip, and see if you can open that left leg out. Use your arm and the strap to give it some support. And just notice how that feels. You can even let the leg relax completely. Keep your right hip on the ground. So if you can keep your right hip on the ground with your right hand on the strap too, maybe you can use the arms to pull the leg a little closer towards your face. Just deepening the stretch. Don't bring it to a space that it doesn't feel good to stretch. Don't get that painful stretch. Just keep it right on that edge where it feels nice and not painful. When you're ready, we're going to bend the knee and slowly bring it back to center. Take the foot down and we'll bring the right side into the chest. So starting off just the same, reach your left leg long if you like, activate through the foot and see if you can pull that right knee a little higher. Noticing how it feels and if it's any different than the other side. When you're ready, taking the hands onto the back of the thigh, we'll just lengthen the leg up and bend it again. Moving through this a few times, noticing any sensations. I get sort of a weird kind of shock feeling in the right calf if it's really tight, and I try to stretch it up. We'll do one more here. And then just take that foot flat down on the ground. Opposite ankle is going to come across. Let the knee drop out. Rotate through your ankle a few times. And then setting yourself up for those rolling bridges. So find where your hips are even with your shoulders. Press into your heel. Lift your chin. Make sure you have space through the back of your neck. Pressing in. Lift that pelvis up first. So you're tilting your tailbone towards the ceiling. And then lift all the way up. Noticing how it feels in your left side. And slowly lower back down. Doing that a couple of times. Try to tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling before you lift. Couple more here. Really squeezing the glutes. Pulling your belly in. And don't forget to breathe. On this next one, if you like to, we're going to hold up in that bridge. And then if it feels good, lengthen that opposite leg out. Pull your belly in. Keep looking straight at the ceiling. Don't move your head around. And then slowly lower back down. Right knee into the chest. We'll take the strap right around that foot. Left leg and extend long. Press your heel up. Just like before, we're going to bring it just slightly across that center point. Just where you feel the stretch, but you can keep your hip on the ground. And breathe. Noticing if this side feels different than the other felt. And then when you're ready for it, we're going to come to the other side. So taking the strap into your right hand, left hand is going to come onto your hip. And we're just going to let that leg drop open. Oh, I'm just far enough from my wall that I can do this. Keeping this hip down. And just like on the other side, if it feels good, you can take the left hand and grab the strap too. Just make sure you keep your left hip down. Maybe you can pull your leg up a little bit higher. Noticing any differences between this side and the other side. Keeping that long, slow breath. Try to keep your mind present in this moment, feeling every sensation. And we'll bring the leg all the way up. Go ahead and release, knees into your chest. Rock around a couple of times. And we're just going to come all the way up and all the way over onto all fours. So get there however you like. I like to rock myself forward. And then kind of sweep through. Spread the fingers wide, start to move through cat and cow. And then find your way back through center. We're going to bring our knees towards each other. I like to tuck my toes under for this, but you don't have to. Take a moment, pulling through your belly. Make sure you're not kind of arching your back. You can even bring yourself forward a little bit if you need to. And we're just going to take those toes, tap them out. Knees are staying together. So you're internally rotating through the knees or through the hips, and then bring it back in. So just do that a few times. Noticing how it feels, if one feels a little easier than the other. And keep pulling your belly in. The next time that you have your toes out, we're going to hold them there. See how that feels. If it feels really bad, you don't have to. You can keep them way closer to each other. And we're just going to play around with moving here. So maybe some small circles. taking those circles the opposite way if you haven't already. I can't remember which way I was going now. And then coming back to center, maybe untucking the toes if you have them tucked. Maybe you can start to walk back, coming towards hero. Bring your knees so they're together. Just noticing how that feels. So this is somewhere where you could use a block or a book and stick it underneath your hips. I'm actually going to come a little higher. If you have really sensitive knees, stay up really high because you don't want to hurt your knees. Your tops of your feet are flat down on the ground. Your heels are right next to your hips. We're just going to lengthen tall through the spine. And if it feels good for you, you can start to lean forward. If you feel pinching or like a grinding in your hips, please don't. Lean forward. And just seeing where you can kind of explore this, maybe a little bit of movement. Finding where you feel that stretch, but it's not painful for you. When you're ready for it, just coming back and going the opposite way. So some people can like lay all the way down. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to come right here with this block under my booty. And then slowly coming back forward. If you have that block under you, go ahead and remove it. And see if you can just sort of windshield wiper the knees side to side here. If you have a really sticky mat, it might not be so easy to do this. Mine's like terry cloth on top, so you can slide around on it pretty easy. When you're ready for it, we're going to come back into center, and then we're going to do just a couple of things to strengthen through those glutes and hips. So we're going to start by reaching the left leg back. Keep the toes pointed to the ground, and notice when you come back here if your hip starts to open. Point it straight down. So if you have turnout in your foot, you might notice that your toes are turning out, but you want your hips straight down. We're going to start just by squeezing the heel in and lengthening it out. Squeezing in, lengthen out. Keep your hips straight down. Pull your belly in. A couple more times. So we're getting that hamstring activated. We'll do one more here. And then bring that heel so it's right above your knee, and we're just going to pull. So taking some donkey kicks. Kicking up and down. Notice where you feel this. So if you don't feel it in your glutes, pull your belly in a little bit. Try to keep your back flat and just really focus on that booty. You can adjust your leg a little bit if you need to, taking the heel so that it's not so much in line with your knee. If that helps bring the movement into the booty instead of into the hamstring. Try not to dip down like I am into the opposite leg. And as you're starting to hopefully get a little fatigued here, we're going to keep our leg hovering, but we're going to bring the knees that are next to each other. Keep your toes tucked under if you can, and just bring it out for that fire hydrant. Hips are pointing down, so you're just bringing the leg out. Really focus on that. You're not opening up to the side. Even if you can't bring the knee very high, that's okay. And then let's see if it feels okay to kick the leg out and back in. So try that a couple of times. And then come back down to center. You're going to take your right leg, cross it over the left leg, slide your way back. Finding that sort of pigeon variation. Long, deep breaths. I said this was gonna be quick, but I think that I've gone past a quick practice. We're just gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna do some more bridges, and then we'll be finished. So if you feel like I lied about the quickness when I said that at the beginning, hopefully you'll still find that this is quick. When you're ready for it, we're gonna come back to center. Shift the hips side to side again. Do whatever you need to. Woo, that was a good stretch, or not a good stretch, a good activation. I can feel it all in this glute. We're just gonna move to the right side. So coming back to center, pull your belly in. We'll start by bringing that right leg out. Turn the hip towards the ground. When you're ready, squeezing the heel in and then lengthening it back out. Squeeze in and lengthen. So you might find that your left side is going to get fatigued really quickly here because we've just worked it. So just try to pull your belly in, put some weight into your hands. Last time here. And then we're just going to bring that heel up. So turn the hip down towards the floor and try to find where you can feel it just in your glutes. So play with where you have your heel, maybe not directly over. Squeezing it up, keep pulling the belly in. Press the floor away from you. Try not to sink too much into the floor. And then we'll bring the knee down by the side. We're going to do that same thing we did before. So you're squeezing it up, keeping the hips square to the ground, and back down. So I know I'm doing the opposite side, so you can't see as well. That's okay. We did it already, so you know where we're going. Pull your belly in. Try not to sink into that left hip. Press some weight into your left hand so your right hand's not taking it all. And then we're going to try out that kick. So when you're ready, bring the leg up, kick it out, take it in, back down. Hopefully you're getting that burning going on. We'll do one more. Whew. Take that left leg, cross it over the right, just slide it back. Find your way to like a modified pigeon. Whew. Feeling that on the outside of the booty. Before we move back onto our backs, let's just slowly come back to center. We're going to take our feet together, bring your knees as wide as you can, and we're just going to sink down for like a tadpole pose. So soles of the feet are together. Maybe you can lock your toes to keep them from falling out. Bring your knees as wide as you possibly can and just relax down. If you like to take frog pose instead with your knees all the way out, you can do that. But I'm just going to hang out here. Try to let your belly relax, let your hips relax. Taking slow, long breaths. When you're ready for it, go ahead and take the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, and we'll windscreen wiper them side to side. Ooh, I can feel that a lot. And then when you're ready, just rolling over onto your back. We're going to take a couple of those rolling bridges just with one leg again. So letting that left knee drop out, right sole of the foot's on the ground, lift your chin, press into your heel. We're just going to start to lift up, squeezing. Try to tilt your tailbone towards the ceiling so you're really activating in that glute, and then back down. We'll do a couple more here, just 4 on each side, and we're going to hold that 4th one. So holding this last one, see if you can get the hips a little higher. Really try to tilt that tailbone up and maybe take a couple of pulses. You're almost trying to release that glute and then activating it again. And then when you're ready, we'll lower back down, take the hands back behind that thigh, pull both knees into your chest. When it feels good, we're going to release that foot down. You're going to keep your ankle across the opposite thigh. Walk that right leg out to the side so it's pretty far, and see if you can just put a little bit of weight to press that right knee in. So if you have really tight hips and internal rotation doesn't feel good, you can just release that foot down. Just trying to keep the right hip on the ground the whole time, and the sole of the foot should peel off. So your knee and your toes are constantly in the same direction. Just getting a little stretch here. You'll feel it in different places depending on where you're tight. But I feel it sort of on the inside of my thigh, and it wraps around towards the outside. When it feels good, just go ahead and release. Maybe bring that knee out to the side a little bit. And we'll do the other one. So just taking your right ankle across your left thigh, just like before, we'll start off with some of those rolling bridges. So press into your heel, tilt your pelvis up and lift. Looking at the ceiling the whole time. Don't look at your screen if you need to. Just watch first and then see what to do, and then rewind and do it. So we'll do just 4. So that's 2, I think. Trying to get that pelvis tilting up so you're really activating. This 4th one will hold. Maybe you can come a little higher, and we'll just lift and lower the tiniest bit. So you're just pulsing a little tiny bit and really getting those glutes activated. One more time. Coming down, take the knee into the chest. Maybe pressing that right knee out. You can make small movements here if it feels good. And then when you're ready, take the foot down. Walk that left sole of the foot out to the side. Let the knee drop in. Use the weight of the right hand or the right foot to bring the knee in. Make sure you keep your left hip down on the ground. If you need to, you can even put your right hand underneath your right hip to kind of even them out. Just noticing if this feels different on this side than it did on the other side. When you're ready for it, just release. We'll move the legs side to side. Come back in through center, both feet down onto the floor, hands right on your thighs like we did before. Press the legs away, try to scoot your shoulders up, feeling that traction in your back. Long, slow breaths. And then you have the option to walk your feet out and let the knees drop in towards each other for a moment as we take like a short Shavasana, or maybe you want to let the knees drop out. Just try to bring your hips to where they're even, whichever way you're going, and we'll just take a couple of really long, deep breaths. When you're ready for it, wherever you have your legs, just slide them out. Lengthen your arms up over your head. Take a long, deep breath. And then as you exhale, bending the knees one at a time, just roll over onto your right side. Blinking the eyes open. And then pressing yourself up. Finding your way back to a nice, comfortable seat. Hands on the hips, roll the shoulders back. Hands on the knees, not the hips. We'll inhale the arms up over the head, lengthen really tall. Palms together, take them down to your heart center. Take a moment to give gratitude to your body. And thank you so much for joining me. Please share with your friends. Let me know what you want to do in some other videos, and I'll see you all next time.